Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Efeni. Good morning, Emmanuel.
Good morning, Ruben. Good morning, Rufai.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, let's start the review with this day, Nigeria's newspaper of record. Yes, just before the lead story, the story above the lead of Baseki. Nigeria will break if APC wins 2023 presidential poll, says our heads should be examined if party is re-elected. Insists only PDP can rescue nation, inaugurates Edo Campaign Council. Yes, this is political season, and Godwin Obaseki, the governor of Edo State, yes, launching the campaign council of PDP in Benin City yesterday. Well, why Benin, Edo State may be considered a stronghold of the PDP, of course, ahead of the presidential election. Still remember how Edo State, in that governorship election, told Asiwaju point blank, Edo not be Lagos. So perhaps that is one area Atiku will feel very safe and is in safe hands with Obaseki leading the campaign of PDP in Edo State. Now, the lead story, IG, FCT minister ramp up security in Abuja over terror threat, launches counter-terrorism operation simulation exercise, instructs FCT CP to rejig strategy, puts 36 states on standby. Yes, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, of course, has ordered increase in security activities in the Federal Capital Territory as part of the new efforts to secure the nation's capital. It's good to hear that all security agencies are on their toes to ensure that the threat that has been mentioned, especially made public by the U.S. Embassy, which our security agencies and intelligence community are also aware of, is not being taken lightly, and all hands are on deck. We expect all security agencies to work in synergy to ensure that this threat does not manifest by way of coming to pass. Now, this story, there's also, yes, the Punch newspaper also reporting issue of security, U.S. terror alert. Atiku, Tinubu, Obi demand security beef up, reject campaign suspension. PDP, Labour Party task security agencies on supporters protection at rallies. Police issue advisory, ask parties to fortify campaign venues to forestall attacks. We are on top of the situation. Defense Headquarters, Directorate of State Security. No cause for alarm. APC Presidential Campaign Council. Now, the campaigns are on. Political parties are holding rallies, which can easily become soft targets for this terrorist element. We expect the security agencies, the police, the DSS, to provide adequate security at these venues. Not just asking the parties to fortify their campaign venues, to forestall attack. They should ensure that wherever these rallies are being held, adequate security by way of police security, intelligence officers are on ground to monitor the situation and ensure that nothing untoward happens. Because what these terrorists want to do is to put our democracy in jeopardy such that people cannot go out and campaign. But that should not be allowed to happen in our climb. But we just look at other stories here. Yes, below the photograph and front page of the Punch newspaper, designing forfeits Abuja mansion, luxury cars to federal government. Of course, the mansions are shown there. the EFCC got a court order for permanent forfeiture of this property to the federal government. What will the federal government do with this property? See, is what's left to be seen. Because a lot of property seized from persons involved in corruption are allowed to rot away, whereas the government can easily sell this off and get money. Now, below the photograph there, 10,296 Nigerian doctors practicing in UK, Nigerian Medical Association lament. It's like we're training our doctors for other climes to go and service other nations these days. But we have to do what is right at home. Take care of these doctors, pay them well, provide equipment and facilities for them to work, and they will be encouraged to stay. But we also know that the lure of leaving this country is very high these days. Those who are even leaving the country now are those who have good jobs, who can spend millions to package the entire family and leave the country. So the next president has a lot of work to do to make this country livable, attractive, even for professionals. Because those who are leaving are not just those who cannot make ends meet in Nigeria. Those who are leaving are those who have good jobs in banks, tech people. I was talking to a senior officer in a bank over the weekend about some of the challenges I'm having with their bank. And he said, the problem we are having is that many of these boys are leaving and you cannot do anything about it. So the Japa syndrome, the government of the day, the next government has to make Nigeria livable, attractive for Nigerians so that the best of Nigerians don't leave Nigeria in their prime to serve other nations. Now, the Daily Trust newspaper, troops nab Boko Haram kingpins in Abuja, Kano, tight security at government offices in satellite towns. FCTA orders CCTV in public places. Residents ask government to be proactive. Police launch counter-terrorism exercise. Yes, the Daily Sun newspaper. Yes, the Daily Sun newspaper also reporting on security tension in Abuja over U.S. terror alert. Schools send students home. Security beefed up in hotels, worship centers, markets. Police begin nationwide emergency counter-terrorism operations. Now, we'll look at other stories quickly. Now, the Guardian newspaper, let's look at political stories now. 2023, women threaten boycott to engage Tinubu, Atiku, Obi, others. Akiyode Afolabi, we don't know presidential candidates' plans for women. Advocacy groups tax Tinubu, Atiku, others on gender balance. Nigeria will break if APC wins, says Obaseki. Wike, Atiku disrespected, sideline me to assemble his campaign list. Group falls Wike on exclusion of his group from Atiku. Yes, but let's talk about the women. Women groups meeting, yes, and they want to hear from the from the presidential candidates. What are their plans under the group called Womanifesto? Yes, Womanifesto. A number of women groups are coming together to demand to hear from the presidential candidates what they have in store for women. And I think it's a good thing to do because half of your population not represented on the tickets, not well represented in political appointments and elective positions. But if women can hold the presidential candidates to make commitments on what they will do to ensure inclusion, gender parity, inclusion of more women in governance, because of course we have very competent women out there who can provide a lot of input into governance and make this country workable, as it were. As we have seen in the past, Okonjo-Iweala, remember how she led debt to get our debts off the books when she was minister. So more women in government, and the women are going to hear. They want to hear from the presidential candidates. I hope they will make themselves available. Now, the Daily Independent newspaper, PDP crisis. Governor Wike rules out reconciliation with Atiku, vows to deliver Rivers presidential votes to opposition, says Atiku Abubakar doesn't need him in his campaign. Of course, the Nation newspaper also reporting this story. 2023, Wike rejects Atiku. Rivers governor vows not to campaign for PDP standard bearer. Yes.
Okay, we need to take a short break now.
Okay.
We understand that Liz Truss, the outgoing Prime Minister of the UK, is addressing the press. That's it on the screen there.
Urgently and decisively on the side of hard-working families and businesses. We reversed the national insurance increase. We helped millions of households with their energy bills and helped thousands of businesses avoid bankruptcy. We are taking back our energy independence, so we are never again beholden to global market fluctuations or malign foreign powers. From my time as Prime Minister, I am more convinced than ever that we need to be bold and confront the challenges that we face. As the Roman philosopher Seneca wrote, it's not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It's because we do not dare that they are difficult. We simply cannot afford to be a low-growth country where the government takes up an increasing share of our national wealth and where there are huge divides between different parts of our country. We need to take advantage of our Brexit freedoms to do things differently. This means delivering more freedom for our own citizens and restoring power to democratic institutions. It means lower taxes so people can keep more of the money that they earn. And it means delivering growth that will lead to more job security, higher wages, and greater opportunities for our children and grandchildren. Democracies must be able to deliver for their own people. We must be able to outcompete autocratic regimes where power lies in the hands of a few. And now more than ever, we must support Ukraine in their brave fight against Putin's aggression. Ukraine must prevail, and we must continue to strengthen our nation's defences. That's what I have been striving to achieve, and I wish Rishi Sunak every success for the good of our country. I want to thank you, Francis Liberty, my family and friends, and all the team at Number 10 for their love, friendship and support. I also want to thank my protection team. I look forward to spending more time in my constituency and continuing to serve South West Norfolk from the backbenches. Our country continues to battle through a storm. But I believe in Britain. I believe in the British people, and I know that brighter days lie ahead. Thank you.
Outgoing Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Liz Truss there, taking a leave. Today, another person will take over, and that will be Rishi Sunak, who has been, selected or has gone through a process of coronation, some people say, but now the ball is in his court to lead Britain forward. Miss Liz Truss, the shortest ever serving Prime Minister in the history of that office. The other person who was there was who spent about 119 days. That's the shortest. But now, Liz Truss spending 45 days. That will go down in history as the shortest ever. But if any, you still look at the foreign papers.
Yes. We'll get there shortly. But let's just finish with the Wike story, the Nation newspaper reporting that story. Now, 2023, Wike rejects Atiku. That's the way the Nation is reporting it. Rivers governor vows not to campaign for PDP standard bearer, inaugurates council for Rivers party candidates. And there's a quote there attributed to Wike. I have never seen how people would disrespect a state like Rivers and go and choose those who are enemies of the state. Well, I think what we know about that composition, all the governors were asked to submit their nominees for the campaign council of Atiku Abubakar, the PDP campaign council. But, of course, Wike did not send any names. But they had to pick people from Rivers. But if Rivers indigents who are members of the party, because they are decide to serve on Atiku's campaign council, are now regarded as enemies of the state. We remember what happened to Celestine Omeya, just because he decided to associate as a party member with the presidential candidate of the party, who happens to be on the other side, according to Wike. In fact, Wike's problem is not even with Atiku, you remember, but with, he said, the Yoshayu has to go. And since nobody has forced Yoshayu to leave, so he's on his own with his other brother governors. Five of them all together. But we'll see how it pans out. How you are campaigning for PDP governorship candidate, House of Representatives, House of Senators, but you are not campaigning for the presidential candidate. But we'll see how that pans out. But that is the situation in the PDP. Is it a state of no return? Can they still reconcile before going ahead before the general elections? Left to be seen. Then, of course, let's look at the New Telegraph newspaper on unprecedented flooding. Nimet blames state for calamity. Says weather forecast gave an inkling. Lagos issues red alert to Ikoyi, Victoria Island, Lekki residents. Rufai, where you live.
Yes, sir.
We need solution, not relief materials. Host come. President should visit our state.
And they say the back floods from the tidal waves.
Yes.
That is going to flood most parts of the island. The back floods from the tidal waves.
We have not seen the worst yet. Produce flood containment plan in 90 days. Buhari orders minister. Well, we expect the president to do more, to show more empathy to those who are affected, states that are affected. If foreign countries can be sending money to help victims, the federal government needs to do better. Certainly, there's no mincing words about this. Now, the Business Day newspaper, rice seen hitting 50,000 naira per bag as floods ravage farms. Nigerians may have to brace themselves for a surge in the price of 50 kg bag of rice locally. Rufai, although I don't need extra rice now, but yesterday I had to stop by at the supermarket and bought a bag. But it was still 35,000 naira.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Because in some areas, and is it foreign or Nigerian rice?
No, it's Nigerian.
Nigerian rice.
Yes, I don't want to promote the brand. From the Kebbi area.
In some areas, foreign is 40. In some states now,
yes.
Nigerian is even 40, 45.
No, well,
that's just it.
If you have 35 naira, I can still direct you to where you can get it for 35 naira, 1,000 naira. So now the foreign newspapers, quickly. The Times of London, Sunak tells stories, unite or die. After coronation by MPs, next Prime Minister warns that failure to heal rift within the party will finish the Conservative Party. Now he's taking over. At least he will see the king today. Coronation, I restrained myself from using that word yesterday because I know there's a coronation that UK is waiting for. But what happened yesterday, obviously, was another coronation. A coronation before the coronation. So, Rishi Sunak on the saddle. Yes, has a handle on the economy. Can he clean the mess?
No, it's going to have problems. You know, Rishi Sunak sworn in to bring light to the UK. Funny enough, he got the job, not sworn in on Diwali Day, which is a big celebration for Hindus across the world and everything. You know, but he's going to face a lot of problems. First, he's going to unite the party. That party is fractious, is divided. And is also going to unite the country, because he's going to be a prime minister that is not popular in the country. And at a time like this, people still argue, although the Conservative Party have argued that it is the party that owns the mandate, not the candidate. People still argue that, it's Boris Johnson's mandate, so they need to try as much as possible to push to a general elections. But I think the best he will try to do is to stabilize things, increase taxes, sort out the fiscal side in prelude to general elections, because 2 years' time, they're still going to have general elections. It might come earlier than that. But either way, it's head or tail. The big challenge will be about the Conservative Party in general election, which most likely, whatever happens, they might lose. This might be the beginning of the end of the Conservative Party in power. But time will tell, except if he makes a magic. But congrats to him, youngest Prime Minister of Asian origin, but not the first of ethnic minority, because the first was Benjamin Disraeli many years ago.
Yeah.
A lot of people wish him well, and we can only hope for the best. But the king is shocking. He has seen 2 prime ministers in the space of how many weeks now?
Yes, Robert.
Anyway, thank you very much, Emmanuel Ifene.